Hello ladies and gentlemen, today what we're going to be working on is an old cowboy trick that I learned from a good friend of mine, and I'll introduce you here shortly. His name is Greg, and what he does and what we're going to talk about today is actually taking a cowboy hat. They're normally made out of wool or felt, and we're going to put wax on it. He's going to explain the whole reasons behind it and so forth. So it's a pretty good tip. A lot of times you do it in the season between the fall, winter time, and the back to spring was transition, because you got a lot of rain, you got a lot of snow, and clearly these hats, if you don't wax them, they'll dip, they'll misshapen, and you just can't fix them. So we're going to show you today how to improve your cowboy hat with using golf wax. So I'm going to introduce Greg here real quick, and right now, matter of fact. So here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend Greg.
Howdy y'all, my name is Greg Hall, Bar Diamond H Quarter Horses, and thanks Travis for allowing me to show this to y'all. Alright, well, here I got what we're going to be making. This is the end product. This is just a standard, it's a 5X felt by Rodeo King, and those are probably my most preferred hats to make this out of. They hold the wax real good. The purpose behind it is it'll essentially weatherproof your hat, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it'll make it waterproof, and it also doubles as a helmet. It's pretty dang hard. It could be like a dang weapon if you aren't careful, but it just adds for second protection also. You know, it'll dang sure keep you, you know, it'll tread the water during those harsh elements and the rain and the snow and the sleet. And it's a little bit heavier, so if you're out in a really windy environment, like we're out here in northwest Kansas right now currently, then winds will pile up and get to be about, you know, 30 to 40 mile an hour straight line winds, and with a heavier hat on your head, it ain't liable to blow off. So it puts a little bit of extra weight on your head. It'll repel that water real good, and then it'll also work as, you know, as like I said, like a helmet. So if you hit like a low hanging limb and you're prowling down and barreling after a cow or whatever, you know, I mean, if you hit something, well, it probably won't knock you out. And if it does, at least you ain't gonna have a big whelp on your head. So anyway, how we're gonna make this, we use Gulf wax. You can get it at any, you know, Walmart or grocery store. You know, a lot of little convenience stores will sometimes have it too, and it comes in little bars. There's 4 of these bars in here, and I'll normally use maybe one to 2 bars depending on the size of the hat and how much thickness I really want to put on it. My hat has 2 bars worth of wax on it, so that much on one hat.
Now, is it a good idea to wear these type of hats summertime when it's really hot?
I wouldn't recommend it. It'll start to like kind of melt and droop, and it'll kind of leave this filmy mess on you and all. You'll start getting wax all over you. If it's I'd say if it's over 60 degrees, you probably might want to start switching over hats. You know, putting on a felt that doesn't have wax on it, or start switching over to your palm leaf or your straw hat, because it's about that time of year anyway when it starts getting to be those temperatures.
Absolutely.
And then something else you're gonna need. I just go to the local hardware store or Ace or whatever and pick up some cheap paint brushes. You don't have to go out and buy expensive paint brushes to do this. I wouldn't recommend it because you're gonna ruin them. You're only gonna get a couple uses out of these paint brushes, and then you're just gonna have to chunk them, because once that wax gets on there, you know, you ain't really gonna be able to use them again. So I mean, these are just little 99-cent paint brushes, no big deal. And then another thing, my wife doesn't like it whenever I make a big waxy mess in my kitchen. So I'd recommend to all you ladies and gentlemen to avoid disturbances with your significant other. Go get yourself a cheap hot plate and take it outside and go do it elsewhere where you aren't going to make a big mess. because you know I don't like a super nasty kitchen, and neither does my wife. And I mean, this calms things down. And then I mean, you can get an old pan or whatever. This is an old dog bowl, you know, just something cheap that you can just go ahead and throw that wax in, because once you get that wax in there, you ain't gonna be able to get it out. So use stuff that you don't mind getting waxed up and essentially ruined, because that's all you're gonna be able to ever use it for. So I just got this little hot plate plugged in. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. I'm gonna get these wax bars put in and start getting this wax melted down. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting out with just a basic old hat. This is just an old flimsy, probably about a 5X resistol, or I mean, doesn't really say. It's been so dang wore out that you can't even tell what it is. But a lot of these guys, they'll wait until these hats are plumb wore out before they even wax them.
Now, what regions of cowboying do you actually see these wax cowboy hats?
Oh, there's guys that do it all over. Where I learned it from was from a guy out in Oklahoma. You know, he was out from western Oklahoma, you know, and the wind blows just as hard down there as it does here. And, you know, you'll get bad weather and lots of rain. And that's what this is most ideal for. But I mean, I've seen guys, you know, of all come from all different regions and wax these hats. I mean, there's some flat hatter buckaroos that do the same thing. And, you know, I'm more of a cowpuncher, you know, from South Texas, and I just kind of introduced it. But being where I'm from, we can't really use these that much down there because it gets so hot so quick during that time of year. There's only during the winter could you use it for a short period of time.
You bet. And I know I like my wax hat, and I know you done mine quite a few years ago, and I still use it, and I still wear it, and I got a flat hat, and I love it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and it will not take long to get these wax bars melted down. Normally I'd have it going. Oh, this is probably the longest wait right here. Is just getting these bars waxed or getting these bars of wax melted down to where you can start painting it on your hat.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that you got wax on snowboards, you got wax on skis, you got wax on a whole bunch of different materials, and here we are. Somebody came up with a solution to put wax on a cowboy hat to waterproof them and keep them weighed down. Who would have thought? Oh yeah, that's puddling up really nice.
And I'll go ahead and throw all 4 bars in there just because I got 2 hats to do today. These are for other cowboys in the area that are needing their hats done. And a lot of times a lot of guys don't trust themselves doing it, because this also involves putting your hat in the oven, which I'll show y'all here later. A lot of people are scared to do that because they're afraid they're going to burn their hat up. So, I mean, if you're kind of wishy-washy on the deal, well, you know, if you know Travis, he knows me, and he could bring a hat out and I could do it for you. You know, I mean, I've done them for quite a few different people, and they're pretty pleased with the product.
Looks like a bunch of ice cubes melting. Oh boy.
Well, we got quite a bit of wax puddled up in there, so what I'm going to do is while these other ones are starting to melt, I'm going to start dabbing in and start painting this hat up. I'm essentially just grabbing a bunch of wax here, and I'm painting it on my hat, just like I'd be painting a wall on a house or whatever. And I want to coat that whole thing with wax, and it'll leave a film on it. You know, y'all, I mean, this ain't gonna make your hat look pretty by no means whatsoever. This is just purely for functionality. So if you're wanting to stay good looking, well, just go out and go buy yourself another $400 hat. But if you're wanting something that's functional in the weather, you know, while you're punching cows or trail riding or, you know, whatever you're doing, this would darn sure be the ticket. And you can see that white film that it's building up. That's because that wax is starting to harden.
You know, something I didn't think about with all the wax on these cowboy hats, I think an extreme survival situation, a fella could sure use it for a nice fire.
Oh, yeah. Probably. And another thing about this, y'all, you know, just as a little quick reminder, you know, I mean, if it gets really super dicey cold, you know, like it did during this big cold snap we had, not too long ago, and you're wearing this sucker, and it's, you know, in the single digits or the teens, and you put a whole freaking heaping 2 or 3 bars of wax on your hat because you want it nice and hard and stiff. Well, y'all, I would be very careful, because if it falls on the ground, it can also get brittle and you can shatter your hat. I normally don't wear it though when it's that cold. I'll normally switch over to my Stormy Chromer or whatever because my ears get cold. But I do know some tough fellers that'll wear a hat year round. They don't care what the temperature is outside. Now, after I get done painting this on real good, it is going to require us to go inside the house and put this sucker in the oven. And we're going to bake our hat for a little bit. Don't forget to do the inside, y'all. You want to do the inside of the brim, not the inside of the crown. Brim, crown. Don't do the crown. Do the inside of the brim. Getting some shadows in here. Can you see all that all right, Travis?
Yeah, I think we can. I tell you what, to change this weather from being snowy and then rain into this finally the changing warm weather, it's a welcome sight.
All right, I think this sucker's about ready for the oven. So, next step, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this on just to keep my wax damp, because I got one more hat to do after this. So now, I'm gonna go ahead and take this hat into the house. It is no longer dripping. All right, folks, now over here in the oven, it's been preheated to 250 degrees. Just remember, you got to preheat your oven to 250 degrees. Also, to avoid any mess, we lined the tray with tin foil, because this hat will start to droop and melt, and you'll get wax in that. And all. Last thing you want is wax going inside there where your fire is in your oven, because you will start a fire in here, and you do not want to do that. So to prevent fires and prevent a mess, we lined it with tin foil. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to watch it real easy. I'll put my oven light on and just kind of watch that hat. And it's only going to take maybe, about 2 or 3 minutes to bake that wax into that hat. So I just kind of watch, and I don't even really watch a clock that much anymore. I just kind of watch the hat, and I can watch it bake. But I mean, I would recommend a guy just, let's be safe and check on it at 2 minutes, and then maybe go back if it still needs a little bit more, maybe watch it for another minute or two, and then pull it out. Depending on the quality of felt, it's going to take a little bit more or a little less to get that wax into that felt hat.
Now, what's a good song that's about 2 minutes long that you could think of?
A good song?
Yeah, a good country song.
Oh.
We don't really listen to mainstream. We listen to that good old stuff.
Oh, a lot of Dave Stamey songs are 2 minutes.
Darn right.
Yeah.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
Joe Merrick's pretty good.
Chris Ledoux.
You can't beat Chris Ledoux. I was just over at Colorado Springs, went to the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame Museum. If you didn't know, it is down there in Colorado Springs, and boy, it's always a good time and a good sight to see there. Go visit the museum and see all the past legends, all the regalia still there on shelves and so forth. And I've baked cookies, I've done Dutch ovens in ovens, but a cowboy hat in the oven is probably going to blow a lot of people's minds.
It's starting to bake on there pretty good. Yeah, and don't run off and forget about your hat, y'all. Y'all will burn that sucker up. And I would hate to see somebody do that. This is, not definitely. If you're a child, want to do this, parental supervision is required. It's about the best thing I can say right now.
Yeah, it's probably a good chance of doing that as a person running water in a water trough and forgot that they got it filling up and go do something else, and you're like, oh snap, I forgot to turn off the water to the water trough.
Yeah.
I know I've done that a time or two.
Same. Alright, it's getting there, y'all. Just a little bit longer. It's been just a little over 2 minutes. This was a little bit different style felt. Like I think this hat here, the way it can feel, I've done enough hats, I've been able to I can tell which, like almost what's what. I mean, this kind of feels like a resistol, and a lot of the ones, like I said, that I like doing are Rodeo Kings. I think they hold a wax a lot better. This is done. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull out the hat. It's going to be super flimsy, y'all, and I'm going to be real fast at this. try that. All right, so now I'm back out here. It's a little bit cooler out, so now what I'm going to try and do here is, while it's still flimsy, I'm just going to work this hat and get the shape in it that the guy wants, you know, and let it kind of cool off a little bit, and as it cools, it'll harden, and it'll get that shape and it'll hold that shape that guy's wanting, and it'll be waterproof. There is a little excess wax that what I'll do is I'll just rub that off. You know, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. It's a lot easier to do this when it's not 50 degrees outside. It'll harden a lot quicker. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get this how we want it. But nevertheless, it'll work.
Oh yeah, that's going to sit up nicely. Horsehair and dirt and wax all together. Like Greg said, it's just got to be functional. That's what we're aiming for, not to be Hollywood.
Yes, sir. No, this, I could go in and really clean these hats real good, you know, and if someone wanted me to, I'll clean a hat, you know, it doesn't bother me, but I mean, it's gonna, once these suckers get dirty, they're gonna be hard to clean. These wax hats, you can't really clean them. Mine is just caked with dirt and whatnot from just pure use, and good luck cleaning them. Because, you know, once they get waxed, there's really no going back.
Now that brings up a good point, Greg, with these hats, though. If they get dinged up and the brim gets messed up, it's a lot easier to reset them, and all you have to do is reheat them. Is that correct?
Yes, you just put them back in the oven, preheat your oven at 250, put them back in the oven, and let them kind of flimsy out like what we did, and just bring them back out into a cooler area and start working them and reshaping them exactly how you want them, and it'll put some life back into it. This is taking, like I said, a little bit longer because of the 50 degrees out today and gorgeous.
So you wouldn't recommend pulling this right out of the oven and shoving it right in the ice box?
Well, no, unless you want to have a weird shaped hat, because you want to be able to work it. You want to be able to be out there and work it.
You bet.
Get that shape how you exactly want it. And it's starting to harden up now. It's still a little flimsy, but not too bad. And this hat's definitely seen some hard use, because it's not boxed up and straight at all. It's all wore out, but you know what? That's all right. This guy here, he ranches for a living, and so he's going to be pretty hard on it. So I don't think he really cares about looks. He just wants functionality. That's what we're going for, y'all.
Yeah, that's coming together nicely.
Yep, it'll harden up a little bit more, and that's going to be the end product right there, y'all. You know, it's we'll give that just, I'm gonna let it sit. It's for a little bit longer, and then I'll show you all an end product here in about a minute or two.
Fantastic.
All right, y'all, here's the end result. It's a functional cowboy hat. It's been waxed. It's rock solid and weatherproof. It's not the prettiest thing. There's some waxy residue on it, but like I said, it's functional. All right, it's going to work for everything that we're trying to make happen on this hat. For a little demonstration, I got a little glass of water here. I'm going to pour it on there and show exactly how this thing works and how it repels the water. Bam. Look at that, y'all. It just kind of...
Wow.
I mean, it works out great. So, like I said, it's really functional. You know, the more you use it and the more you re-break it, it'll shed even more. Like mine's been used a while. That sucker, look at that sucker, just shed it all off. It didn't absorb any of it. And you can just wipe her down and heck, it's freaking good to go. Just a really good, it's a really good idea. You know, some other guys led me on to it, and that's how I learned to do it. And
yeah, because in the cowboy world, it's a lot better having a hat like this, you know, in the spring, during the fall, during the winter for transition months or bad weather. A lot better than just pulling out those plastic cheap covers that encompass the whole hat.
And those don't look cool either.
Yeah, that's not cowboy.
Yeah, that ain't cowboy.
This is cowboy.
You wanna look good too while you're doing your job, you know, but you want to be functional. So if y'all want to take some pride in your stuff, you know, and make a nice product that works, that's functional, here you go. And this is an easy way to do it. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, you can always reach out to Travis, and he knows how to get in touch with me. And about your hats or anything else for that matter. So I mean, heck, I'm sure he'll be talking to me about other things in the future. So just nice talking to y'all, and y'all have a good one.
Hey, also, folks, if you're interested in great quality horses, Greg here has a lot of good horses he's selling, and his business is called
Bar Diamond H Quarter Horses, and we raise a good, we like to make a nice versatility type ranch horse. If you're in the market and you're wanting something reasonable, and I dang sure back my product and I back my horses, so. Like I said, reach out to Travis and he could get you in touch with me.
Sounds good. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for showing us that tip on cowboy life and the Western life. I know it's not horsemanship, but it is the Western life. And now you're a solution to fixing your hat. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. Bye now.